Yeah, good evening once again. Me pacha obaswada wa share my numbers no kosra na ya share your interaction na say. And it's really going to be a brief interaction. And say the music earlier no, we'll be running through a number of topics that made a talk post and I say earlier. So I just share numbers no kosra, then we begin to have a conversation, share group be won't be, I just put it there. Tell a friend to tell a friend, say let us have a conversation this evening. Na inyina share. It's share numbers no. I just always think Kebesha says yeah, but share na numbers no and cost rose. I'm 9600 a double then we begin. Because I am man for complaining say I am notification in time. Na ya share. So just try and say, man, I reach a lot of people, at least in 200. I think we can begin. Say, more joining Emma missing finfini. Because the conversation is such that we need to start together. Now, you build the momentum and conquer end. So, me say, share WhatsApp group or copy link na WhatsApp group na woman na de atom. Telegram group now Twitter. You can post on Twitter. I just copy the link and then post it anywhere. Maybe hopefully so people can use few minutes to do the sharing, and then we can proceed with our discussion today. It's really going to be very, very, very interesting. So just stay tuned. Menko baby ana build the momentum no higher. Yes, but Castro Buto, yes. One share Dominic Ofrempong, Mahu Abaso, also share more being share be David Owusu, Adams Hoodoo, and the list continues. Yes. I think that Abaso be Kenny GH, John Diego Techi, Steve Zimade, is it Philemon Osmanamo, Mariama Amadou, Shema Obi, and Kofi Magnus, in Octavia, Florence Adaku, and it's quite interesting. Your ladies, are also becoming politically active because there has been a lot of way just to sway women away from politics. But it's quite interesting. And the new media, is bringing a lot of ladies and women into the conversation, and it's heartwarming. So women and ladies, women becoming so much interested in politics and national discourse, because Makasa FOBA over the years you are reserved not for the aged, hoping say it is a preserve for the aged. But trust me, we all have a role, and that particular role now you want a beginning from today. So let us all get involved. We welcome all of you to this particular discussion. Just share. David Annan, I see you here, and many more. Yes, few minutes. I cast 7 minutes. Now yeah, 7 minutes because I decided say 7:30 exactly. Now yeah, have the conversation. But early just to build the audience. So it's about 7 minutes more to go. Until we can share, just comment or opinion about the topics I ever discussed today. No, let me just run you through. First one on the radar, it's about the many enlightenment campaign at the Biameka in the new media. But we are going to talk about enlightenment in the new media and why we are doing what we are doing. After that, you then move into the judiciary. A lot of conversation going on, back and forth between the politicians and the media, and we are just monitoring what is going on. Say people lose trust in our judicial setup now, and the consequences and the impact being and the way. So especially at this crucial time, and then we'll be waving into another conversation. Yankasa, your president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, say Ghanaians, we are lucky to have him as president. I think that is very interesting, a conversation we are going to delve into. say is it true say you're very lucky to have Akufo-Addo as president, because of free and so they be mad, and we are very fortunate say ono a president at this time, and say Merabama will be wading into the Kumasi controversy. ODK ne Galamsey comment and the subsequent development I say abandoned from Manshia Palace and you see the Krum so Hennessy abandoned and the closure of radio station in Kumasi, another development coming up. So these are the issues. So answer at 7:30 Bebono. You can use the opportunity to just type in your opinion about the number of issues or comment section as in so in the earlier post now is there. The topic first one has to do with the enlightenment campaign, why we are doing what we are doing, and the entire abaye necessary say the influence in the new media no, and over the old media. I think we'll be diving into that, and then your judiciary, the perception that the judiciary is corrupt, the perception that the judiciary is pinned to the apron strings of the power that be, and that justices can be maneuvered, they can be string controlled by the power that be to do their bidding. The impact in the democracy so at this particular time, and then we also be looking at the President Akufo-Addo say lucky to have him as president, and then the Manshia Bruhaha is another issue coming up. So I think it's almost time. We have just about 4 minutes to go. Let's keep sharing. Share. Sebeya will be ebenyebi ahwe. Of course, it's few minutes to go. Share last one. Na yenko. Share last one. Share nedru over 200. 212. Yes, you're really doing well. Your views, so I can't 150. Hoping say we get 200 to start, but about 7:30 we are going. Until we and just admonish them to join us, and let's go. Okay, comment and ask. So I think that we've pinned those of you who log on to the new website, www.ivancheinnocent.org. There are portions. I say if you really want to support what we are doing, and there is a comment to donate, so you can click on it, and then from your own whatever that you can do, you can also go there. But the main focus, and they say look at the topic and comment. Just let your comment come in. Dominic Ofrim Policy or DK is the man. Eva Sechi or see keep on the good work, bro. I hear Domiciara Gloria. Right, you see, may God bless you. Thank you very much. Then you see change is coming. Good evening, my brother. Mahu entry and so we are going without wasting much time. I think so. Let us begin the conversation. Now, what they are and the numbers, and I think so it's okay. We can have the conversation now. So your first topic of interest, and then is about enlightenment campaign, and I make say over the years. Kwanya yafa so ya politics or chrome ha. Nipa bebre I take here for granted. Because you see, there is a long-standing political conspiracy that is in play in Africa. There is a long-standing political conspiracy in Africa. That thing is keep the people in the dark, take away their economic freedom. It's an old way. That is what before enlightenment ever Europe, that was the master key. That was what they were using to control people then. But when enlightenment came into Europe, it subdued that particular economic terror in that kind of way, and not only man for. So anything normally, I make reference to the French Revolution. Event preceded the French Revolution, society, were grouped into classes. We have the first estate, the second estate, and then the commoners. Commoners, they were seen as reflux because, and they were worshipping the kings, they were worshipping the pastors. Your friend says, they had, your friend said, monarchical institutions. They respected them so much. That time, temple, but when the Enlightenment campaign began, in the early 1800s, you know, many of the monarch and aristocrats, you know, saw it as a threat to the status quo, because as much as a man for ever enlightened, you know, then that is when they begin to ask questions. So enlightenment then became a threat, and they threatened the existing institution, that is the old order. But a persist ya to the extent say a code where we are nipping in a very conscious. So no, we are all human beings, we're entitled to money in dear no. Then that tyranny institution of monarchy, nay, aristocrat and as for no, all of them were subdued. And that is when what triggered the French Revolution. After the revolution, you know, yes, a lot of your friends say nasty thing happened during the revolution, and you know what happens during revolution. But in the end, you know, it that is what is in play, unfortunately, in our part of the world. Unfortunately, no, illiteracy is very high, and people don't like Mbisa question. And the other side, the religious institutions, and then as for they have tried and money to keep people like always, just to appear timid, so you don't ask questions. Where we freeze and name you don't have any right to talk about it, because yes, but you see, the rising political consciousness and the social awakening that is in play now as a result of the new media, new media, and I'm referring to the many diverse platforms that are in play. And the medium ya menoka say minya establish a TV station and I minya establish a radio station, but we are communicating a larger number of people out there who are listening. That is the new media, various platforms, are afforded us the opportunity to interact and share ideas. And that old way among for using the old media to lie to us, to just spin propaganda, to spin falsehood. Most of them ended up becoming spin doctors. You can't spin doctors in the political sense. Asem no bana enye kra na mo koka kotenetene no, just to confuse you, say oh papa, but yes, so the traditional spin doctors and then as if for are becoming like they can't handle what is happening, because the new media, our platform, here we are trying to digest the issue from a different perspective, all in a bid to get enlightened. Because my culture say, if you are empowered, you have information, you are enlightened, you can make conscious, wise political choices, and then as if you may not need me to tell you who to vote for out of your own volition, because you are rational, because you are reasonable, you begin to look at for policies, you begin to demand from people what they are supposed to do. Now, this old order, the status quo want to keep people just like where we are, and to miss a question. So that is why I keep telling people, say, poverty in our part of the world is a deliberate political tool. You're crazy. So at the end of the day, majority of the people will not become self-sufficient. They will be impoverished. So when people are impoverished, then whenever they get, and I say you feed it from the crumbs beneath the power table. Now table, they are supposed to be on the table. You tenacity or table, so but because of certain individuals be a greedy, you are now feeding from the crumbs beneath the table. Unya bidia na wadana se, but biara no wouldn't nesenka one in the table no so nedi, but sebaya de bia behuna, you'll be forever indebted. That is the political your friend is saying system ya constructed. So over the years, you haven't seen any attempt to take away poverty, because there are a lot of things that we can put in place to ensure say at least poverty in our part of the world, yen to mean defeat cry at least to certain extent, ye betimi aye bibi sebeya nipa condition betimi move. But just look at the political cycle and the kind of things that go on. Few people used it as an avenue to just amass wealth to themselves. They go, their families get better, and the majority of the people still are. But and I'm saying you're conscious. Now, yen to me politics na yeah pure emotions and then as if we don't even realize this particular threat that is staggering right in front of us. So make a new media now. The new media when offer platforms such like this to probe into some of these your friends saying as issues now what doing young course no say going forward say ya set here now you detach here from emotional politics. Now we begin to do politics based on conviction, based on issues, based on subject, and then as if then we have a bargaining power. Because if you are a fool, you can never have a bargaining political power. No. Because people will always take you for granted. But when you realize that you have enormous power, you value your power, that is when politicians will take you serious and just begin to negotiate. Or other countries, and that is what they do. US, UK, two political parties, very dominant, but you can't take the people for granted because you are dealing with conscious, rational, very intelligent people who are assertive, people who are open-minded individuals who understand the issue even better than some of the politicians. So you can't just go there and sell any trash to them and they will buy. No. You need to, as a policies now what they require, you need to present it in such a way that it will make sense. That is all that matters. It's not about tribal politics. It is not about where you're coming from. It is this. But and I'm saying you need your left from your right. That's a guy in the new Kotwa bar. Nemeshan in some hunu ashanadrian mantino, but come no sabina yansa ba kokura nim. And the reasons all the 2 banners will be who you fair. Obi free and a tribe ni obi free her. If you continue to vote on that particular lines, people will forever and forever continue to take you for granted. I am happy so Ashanti region quite recently there's some development are coming up. The people are now becoming, very conscious. Omo ankasa to omonum to cancer going forward no. They will vote on issues. And na yepe. That is the way. That is the way because and a bit me a charted the part na my development na see a penno ebe me yenya but see you continue near way ya. And unfortunately in our situation people who are in a position of influence I said to me no when you know what can be a buy and channel. No, that is not the case because they've all been made part of the rotten political infrastructure that is preying on us. Enti so we had the faculty now na we politicians need to see in China we who are software in the picture elevated themselves to a level we who imam for akase for monsu the who are him from penning for these are people who will significant influence among the poor folks. Their main preoccupation should be saying come on standing in for menewo nanka your concerns na your one just like the media and they amplify. They negotiate on our behalf. But today, and that these individuals are in a room dining with power and they don't give a damn about you. That is it. Enti Oheneno now speaking for government because Akwaji V8 because the Chicago box commander he doesn't give a damn about the folks that he represents. That is the level we've got into. But Semeno say be very conscious. You'll be able to get out of all these things. And because there are a lot of things that we can do to empower people because among for say and you to mosara mokasa adwuma ben and as a solution ben and as for how many times na yanka now I was telling somebody say we are talking about nurses or motifie and apart from your friends registered nurses we have auxiliary nurses near or more certificate in as for many of them sitting at home posting in as a forum. Let us do this exercise. Old age, there obia in free home. Or yet then people will grow old unless maybe the inevitable happens and then you go away. And that's how you grow old. So if you go to you know this that they have a lot of care homes that has been established and the whole idea is to provide care to your friends the aged so say hospitals and as for na available na yentimi post nurses and as for emfanko hospital momonko ya juma. Can't we create care homes build the facilities and ensure say nipa no adwuma mkura na owo na say the contribution bi na odi be to ho say odri 60 years because you obi na wa busia when people after pension no 60 to something years no kofie that's why nyama for moment take proper care of you. A lot of them die out of misery then as for them. So these are areas you look at as government, say okay, then there is a growing society need. That is among for more obian taking care of them. There means so government, my response and said then I am building this or I am ushering people to build some of these care homes and then as for them nurses will find a job to do. And some of these things, there are people in Ghana who are willing to pay for their parents or for their friends because we all just like Europe. Then as for them, the way so you say hospital crying as for a so some of them will live there forever. Their family occasionally will come and greet them. Is it not a way of creating job opportunities for people? You see, it's just a matter of just thinking. Say job or no free a sort of it is one cause the growing needs of society, any challenges that society face, out of that, and then you profess solution, and in providing solution, you create jobs. So a care home, then as for now, Germany, more US, then as for be break care to be even some of them are not even nurses. But in our situation, we have nurses, we have a certificate nurse, auxiliary nurses sitting home, or spending a fortune to train themselves or need nothing to do. Who is creating that particular facility for them? Even Saturday, Sakra Hakrananka, prioritize, no Akra Hankwa, pirating our Akra Hankwa, has said the BCI. At the end of the day, no, I think that that particular facility can even absorb a lot of people. And then, baby, because of stress and then as for them, there are a lot of people with psychological problems and then as for them, counseling units and then as for are they available? There are people with a lot of mild mental issues. So you see, it's a growing need because of stress and psychological trauma man for go through. No, so who do they talk to? Counseling units and then as for how available are they? So as a government, you can up that particular arena and make it a huge industry so that Ghanaian faces psychological problems. Obi an aware anyway, then as a phone and at the end of the day, when you wake up, so there is a doctor I'm going to see, I'm going to this facility for a care. Isn't it a way of creating jobs? And the same psychological problems in as for US because of that in Tino. Because US one Ghana for no US no sometimes hang with an shema obuseni bia meche obi ha woni adam for onkwa. So imagine such a person going through trauma and as for them. So what they do is sa man na bema and comedy abaye a huge industry. They invest in it because people spend much of their time on social media watching some of this funny stuff just to take away stress. On our own, how do we devise our own? And then your friends say your creative art industry money in our crumble. And individuals within so now so almost serious in almost Obiya yeni biara. Saturday, na me wo Adom FM ekoye program. Then I was telling them, say, if you go on social media, and within the media, there are a lot of Ghanaian artists who are very popular on Facebook. They post to near man as a forum. But you see, I am telling you, say, being popular without power to influence change in society is useless. If you have power, if you are popular, and that particular popularity won't even found well the power to influence change in the society or wherever you are, that particular popularity is useless. It is not about one glass in social media and watch a picture. Obi so the way na cigarette and no pussy, the picture not a baby. Is that popularity? Such popularity are useless. Enti a bass never say through time no want to make impact up bass in the no you fade, you slip to oblivion and nobody will remember you. Go back to 2000. There were a lot of great musicians in Ghana among for Bejidin because there was no impact. So this is an opportunity. Those of you within the music industry now we very very influential. You command a lot of followers on social media. What is the impact? Is it about, say, you nom cigar, na you pussy, na you picture na to social media? Is it about your friends welded wine glasses and stuff? Power to broker your friends say change for the industry, because the industry, there is no industry. But that particular industry is a gold mine. A also better me creating sustainable job opportunity. Because if you are always thinking about yourself, so maybe my because my salary way, maybe my GD da. At the end of the day, you know, what future are you creating for those who are coming? What future? How sustainable? And I'm saying most are so myopic and narrow-minded. You know, politicians don't take them serious. So through elections, then you see a politician will identify or movie sini because him say you are myopic, you are narrow-minded. Now I'm Monsika. Now we didn't not work a campaign. So and because he will not do anything for, because he knows you are a narrow-minded person. But influence and power now, your friends say popularity now, or say what attach power to it. You can sit down with them with policies and near my bit me shaping the industry in such a way, say, or other countries said Omusi making a lot out of it, you know. You also do the same thing. I told you about South Africa, how the movie industry is growing and the number of people who are going into it. Even comedy cries taking the stage and say, South Africa. Go and check the South African movie industry today. Turkey is doing the same thing. Nigeria and Ghana, they start here, but here then I see the console because stories in answer for now we cannot stand the test of time. Sometimes story in some how do we rebrand? But those within, you know, how are also making themselves purposeful. Say, but yeah, a bit me convince the government to invest. During campaign time. Obama 50 million, Obama 20 million, no word in a chiqua recent election, some who they see, yeah. Nipa, Oya crown out to Mudio ferry or Mokrano, where no be a it's going to campaign, Chico, good and Nimasia, election of Pamo and one no Bianca Ubium. Such person, what to complain because we in Yajuma. There are a lot of popular guys gallivanting and saying going around social media. Popularity without power is as useless as nothing. Let us be wise, because you can see creating sustainable and viable job opportunities for Obia. And your Obia responsibility, in as much as we blame government, say, obey bibino, yansono, power and influence Obia in any position, or your hene, or your software, or your software, or your malam, or your wine. Whenever you wield even a little influence in society, use that particular thing to influence change. And no, and every society I get it better. Na nyana social media crown wine glass na cigar to tia man na mutu pictures. Na man for like it. And yes, cigar that you can make, but the industry, you know, how is it working for those who be coming? Yeah, I think so. That is it about your first topic, the Enlightenment campaign. So this whole idea, and they say, Maka say it is no wrong so belonging to a political party, no, but be wise. When people are doing, have the courage to confront it. That is what makes you a human being. That's all. That's all that matters. Second issue, the judiciary. I think former President Mahama raised concern about the doubt about the neutrality of the judiciary over the weekend, and yeah, a lot of responses from the judicial, from the judicial service, and a lot of people are talking about it and stuff. And within the media space, I have listened to a lot of concern being expressed by a lot of people in diverse ways. But the bottom line is that, and never be a isn't it true that the ordinary Ghanaian lose hope and trust and confidence in the judiciary? Isn't it a fact? Isn't it a fact that people hold the perception that the judiciary is as corrupt as hell? Isn't it a fact, an established fact, that people who are being appointed to the benches of the Supreme Court and High Court judges, some of them We know they are aligned and affiliated to certain partisan and your friends saying individual staff, don't we? Yes, somebody may argue that yes, they are human beings and the ones they live in our society. But you see, my culture say the corruption, the actual corruption of the judiciary isn't as dangerous as the perception that the judiciary is corrupt. The actual corruption in the judiciary isn't as dangerous as the perception that majority of the people hold that the judiciary is corrupt. Because in actual sense that the judiciary is corrupt, corruption is done in the dark. Obi corrupt here, we them. But the perception is what informs people and their actions, and it is what matters. So, assuming without admitting that Asema, former president Kai, and as a majority of Ghanaians, they say the judiciary is corrupted, assuming without admitting that is not even true, but the perception is already out there, and it has broken and shattered the confidence and the trust many Ghanaians repose in the judiciary. Shouldn't that be a concern? Let us be reasonable for once. Because my culture say, baby, the executive arm are done in the hot ponkoso. You know the stuff that they are doing. If you go to parliament, because of the partisan football that they do there, you can't even trust them and you can't even take parliament serious anymore. Because it's a business of convenience. Scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. It's a business of it's a convenience, and I'm for a. So when they come out, they scream as if everything hell is breaking loose. But when they are in there, people are comfortable. So people trust and confidence in that particular institution is no longer there. Say the only thing that is standing between Ghana and chaos, between Ghana, the ordinary Ghanaian, and the state of pandemonium, state of chaos, state of disorder, the judiciary, the last man standing. And we've gotten to a point where if you go to social media, people ridicule rulings coming from the Supreme Court. When the president make appointment to the Supreme Court bench, people ridicule them and read all sort of meaning. You think that is not a concern? Then you must be a fool to refuse to admit to say indeed the concerns being raised by people is something that must be addressed, whether it is true or not. It being true or not isn't the issue here. Take it. Being true or not is not the issue here. It is about the kind of perception that is driving the conversation. For some time now, the Supreme Court ruling Babontina, unanimous 7, unanimous appointment, unanimous this, and the crowd that say yakoton cars more without going through the process. And you think that is not a concern? Yes, it's a human institution, but you see, the ordinary Ghanaians has seen a lot of funny stuff from the judicial arena, and that particular funny stuff is not enough for the person to lose confidence. Now, tape or your video the buy. So all these things already not at the back of Ghanaians, lingering misconception and whatever perception or whatever that you want to call it. You cannot begrudge that particular person. It is incumbent upon you to rebrand yourself. The lost confidence and the lost trust, the tattered image in the eyes of the people will be fixed in such a way that particular confidence will be retained, so that obino binya asema, because me no binya asema, it is not the judiciary that will come and tell me say Fabra Court. No, I will sit down, do my personal assessment and see my chances of going to court. If I don't trust the judicial system, I will not go. If I don't go, then I'll take the matter into my hands. That is why crime and it's as simple as that. If I don't trust, I won't go to court. If I don't go to court, I'll take the law into my hands. And on the lawlessness, and then as a form of other countries, take a country like Sudan, for instance. It was once a peaceful, noble country with loving people. There were Christians and stuff, Muslims, co-mingling. The cohabitation was quite good. But when a certain group realized that no, the status quo is against us, we are a marginalized group, There is no way we can get fair justice from this particular way. We will fight from the trenches. That is what happens. Or mind be a when started free, when people lose trust in the establishment. And that is the point Ghana has gotten to right now. I told you there, the three main pillars in the minor, being the executive, being the judiciary, being the legislature. No. Trust no whatever. Now a brief certain way the judiciary. Now it is going. The perception just go there. Quite recently they gave a ruling. And I read about it, the commentary and stuff. That is what matters to me. And it was so funny, the kind of funny descriptions, unholy descriptions that people were attributing to ruling coming from the apex court of the land. If you are a very sensible person sitting at the court, you should be concerned, because it is not about you thinking that maybe you may be deluded, thinking that you've given a good ruling and as well, but the person accepting it, and that is justice. It is not you giving the justice, but it's the people accepting and realize that indeed this is justice. That is what matters. So if it comes and people are repelling, you should be very sensible enough to know that something is wrong. So the fact that people have lost trust in the judiciary is not a debate. And I don't expect a defensive posture from the judiciary trying to, fight this in the media like a dog fight, trying to defend, insult and stuff. My friend, a chief justice and I say, but the fact of the matter is, under the current chief justice, the integrity, the reputation, everything by the judiciary, people don't respect it anymore. And you see, the other angle we are saying, you're very dangerous crowd. And say Ghanaians have been expressing concern and worry about the one-term appointment of President Ayer to the bench, or by appointment and a year in the last week, somewhere around by 11 Kowe. In the Fourth Republic, one person appointing more judges to the Supreme Court within a short period. President, now people raise a lot of concern whether those concerns are justifiable or not. You need to, but in the midst of the stormy tension, in the midst of people expressing misgivings, people expressing doubt, the president was rather appointing extra people into the bench. At a point, people were expressing concerns about this thing. He was still appointing people because he didn't care much. But he forgot to say, it is not about you appointing somebody into the Supreme Court. It is not about, it is about people accepting, say, indeed, this is justice. That is what matters. But here we are. So my advice is that we should move beyond your friends are trying to defend this thing in the media and stuff. There is a genuine concern, there is a broken trust, there is a broken hope that we need to fix, and that alone is enough. I'm coming. Sorry, I'm back. So that is the major concern, the trust. I'm on for lose, honestly, you move my attention. So what I thought is wrong. Why is a man for a castigating all sort of unholy destiny? Ruling Babon, a man for a cancer bebreno. What is wrong? Because a bedroom baby, say, and be and found when they could draw a point, and I said, people begin to rebel against ruling coming from the Supreme Court. There will be no turning point for this particular country. Trust me. So you get it to a point now, people begin to rebel against ruling coming from the Supreme Court. There will be no country to hold. That is the point. Maintain baby, and never underestimate the ordinary Ghanaian. Namen free say Ghana for their Jew. No more no more say yo. Go to the past. Nema Ghana for in the past, but about and a man for war. So you don't take the people for granted. when people are expressing concerns in the forum, so if we say be enkwasasem no more can at least just listen to them and address or more, they will go away. But if you approach them with that attitude of disdain, oh snobby obia, or munim nyansa no more can do more can, a politics no more can, a naysayers, oh munim do more can, they are empty, they are this. A dabe who's or munye empty no, ebia na aka unika ba akope na wodi dwane. So this is the time for us to work together and ensure say the noble institution, the judiciary, now over the years, you repose confidence and trust in. I bear the last bastion, one armor, will be a Jana Cocotuano. A man phone lose hope, no trust a womb. Koye nim de si wo Cote d'Ivoire election petition, we are judges in Ujani Bashe Kuruma say. A two jirenya. Obia Bejane. We must not yena ya kayentie na kayentie. People have been expressing concern about the ruling on about 7 different times. Unanimous. How can the Supreme Court judges go and sit down on the issue 7 different occasions and we say, oh, unanimous? Like how? But all these things are basically gliding up. And we see the arena we find ourselves, all these things are political issues near the back court. So definitely the kind of perception that people hold about them, you can control it. That is what I'm telling you. So if you get out there right now and you sample public opinion about the judiciary, the chief justice, the judicial system, and someone better know what's from no. One way I won't call to be Pongo mini shouti now free say we say no sa court to them hono kwana. My friend, you have lost touch with reality. Just come to the ground. Because people are really concerned. And that concern must be addressed. Sabeya, the broken trust and the tattered image of the judiciary will be repaired. Now, this back and front. Your friends are people who are supposed to provide sensible explanation and sensible justification as to why what is happening. Bar Sabi no also issue press statement. Actually, who need the Bible and saying where lies wisdom and sense. Let us approach issues in a way I able to address the many concerns, because on my Makato say back for there. We all have a stake in it. That is just for that. Then we are going to another issue. President Akufo-Addo say, yeah, Ghana for no. We are so damn lucky. We are so damn lucky to have him as president, because so if he's saying say we are damn lucky to have him as president, what it means is say so far he's the best man Yenya. And sometimes it's really disheartening, to be very honest with you, to follow Ghana politics from a distance. You create yourself with all the development that has been going on for quite some time now. If you look at the Ghana's economic image, when you are rating it on the global scale, and I say Ghana's domestic economic image, the economic sentiment being expressed by the ordinary Ghanaian, the veil of hopelessness, and despondency na for a feeling at this particular time, Ghana ni like where people are depressed, and near all aspect economy na shattered, a country is at the verge of sinking, and the conversation has traversed beyond the frontiers of partisan political discussion. No. And never be a discussion. It has moved beyond the frontiers of the usual NDC MPP politics. So when you are saying the country is broken even from the perspective of IMF, even from the perspective of Fitch, even from the perspective of Moody's, even from the perspective of S&P. The country is broken. Not the usual fixated NDC MPP politics in here. So very often, whenever you're speaking sense and wisdom to people, they pin it to, oh, it's just politics. No, I'm saying, say, Ghana's global economic image, has been rated by Moody's, by Fitch. These are credible rating agencies globally, no be anymore. And this is the thing now. And over Ghana higher, there are evidence abound to suggest that Ghana's economy is in distress. A hospital and the emergency. Trying to resuscitate the bow sabaya ubetumi ahome. As I cry, ya wona when ya birth asphyxia. Now we'll try to resuscitate the child. Sabaya ne abga score ni betimi abasoro kakra na waya normal. But in the face of this reality, you see, this reality is so indented to the stance that even the blind can feel it. But your president doesn't even see it. He doesn't. He's still going around touting himself that he's the best man for Ghana. So the question is this man really in touch with the reality? Is he really living in the world that we are living in? Does he even read the news at all? The Nkrofo, omo brief know what is going on. Like, what is going on? Like, maybe those of you who are watching can understand it perfectly, but from where I stand, you see, I'm totally lost. Because you see, it's not the issue as the NDC being a press conference from Mokasa Ghana economy heading. And I see people being a press conference with Ghana heading. Almost go to the level of global institutions have weighed into the stance that the country is now chasing IMF for a deal. Then you have a president telling you, say he's the best, saying best now what my the largest family and friends government in the modern and in a civilized era. Is that what he's making reference to? Best as the first president and a maiden addition. Okubiya will be speech back and the content then they be citizens. Is that what he's telling us? The lucky? Like I said, Ebia, some of you can bring better explanation too, because you see, I'm just struggling to come in terms with that particular comment. And you see, my culture will say, if you are a leader or if you are president and I say Sebi, so be trust speech man as a walk kind now kind do webinar who's independent kwasa 7 watch ramawa. What do? You skip or you don't even say it at all, because you must always be mindful of the arena you stand, the environment, how people are feeling, the prevailing economic circumstances. And no, all of those things should be factored into your Nsama, so that you accord the people the maximum respect and the dignity that they deserve. But that is not Akufo-Addo. He doesn't know the weather. In the face of economy, he's still out there telling you, showing Ghanaians nothing but vulgar disrespect. That is what he's doing. He doesn't respect nobody. And that is what he always do. Always full of himself. Because at the point that failure is right staggering right in front of all of us. See the things he's saying. He doesn't even realize it. He doesn't. So when he was told, say, Mr. President, Babi Ebabedrui, Ghana yako IMF ne nema ya dindia, it's clear say we team now do mo buy some babo me atichiro man no. So at least do something about it. Or see whoever criticize ne Nkrofo no eye omo perform you are jobless. Era makasa sebi, o kasa na obi chiro nkwasa sem kra mawa, o kanya. You know what to do, say, oh, asem way there sebi, any situation related. He was bold enough to tell us we are just jobless. But President will do it saying, you have created a jobless pool. And that is what when you just overcome you have created a jobless. Me say in any civilized advanced or mind be a sebi nipo mo no or mo adwen wo soro kakra bia ka that particular day nanka they will demand resignation from the president. But my culture say what is supposed to be existing between power, a mutual respect and intellectual kinship, and that thing is not there. So when somebody rises to political prominence and I see a position in manner, not being say, yeah, some no. And now here more posture and near more, yeah. That is what it means. It is the only motivation every time my president I catch it and say, we are lucky to have him as president. And indeed, we are really lucky. Do you know why? Because I think that Akufo-Addo's presidency is an eye-opener, a lesson to a Ghanaian. Because this board member for Accra House of Folk, what is the name? Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo Kachere Ghana for say, if you vote for Akufo-Addo, Ghanaians are going to learn the bitter lesson. Bitter. And here we are. You see that children are screaming. School feeding is crumbling. Free SHS, your secondary schools, at 10 a year, your friend is we say, I go back. Everything. The political infrastructure, human factor, woman ministers, they are the political infrastructure, the instrument, it's rotting to the core. He doesn't even realize, he doesn't, because he doesn't have the capacity to analyze and see, say, no, something is wrong, I need to change. His own people within the MPP, I have listened to Kwabena Japan, who is MPP from birth till today. He has admitted failure, not just any failure, a staggering and a monumental failure is what he has identified. And he is calling on his president, said, do something. The president said he is jobless. I listened to Adenimo, who is a prominent member of the MPP, probably born into it, echoing the same sentiment. The president responds, he is jobless. So you see, our president has become an unstoppable hurricane that is wrecking homes, that is wrecking future, that is wrecking present, that is wrecking the economic fortunes of this particular country. It is almost wrecking the very foundations of this particular country and putting the foundations of our very democracy at risk. That is what it's doing. An unstoppable hurricane. But the guy doesn't even realize he is toying and messing up with this particular country. That is the problem. And he has centered around him sycophant and bootlickers who are scared to even look him in the face and tell, say, hey, old man, you are messing up. They are scared, because that is his nature. He will victimize you. He will come after you. So everybody is scared. So all that they have to do is to sing praises and hallelujah choruses, all to the glory of the King, His Excellency Akufo-Addo. One. Singing praises and glory, all to the glory of one man. And that is the nature of politics that we do. People are scared of those who be bold enough to look at them and tell them the truth. Yabe yo minim yabe pamo de kwa kwase sate pongo so fo ne de betwa ho ahia. Oh nana wa ya de, oh nana we efe, oh nana we efe. Sabi wako toilet kura be ka cho se efe na adenam. Obi oson ko nwanam de a obi ahunyansa nka kire ne se na sa nkura sesem we nso ye ne wo hefa, but osonam nipa ne de ka di nachi. At the time Ghana for soon, at the time, look at dollar to cedi. A dollar to cedi. You see, and kobiam bilemo biao. But you see, the fuss that was made about the dollar politics and the subsequent commentary by Bawumia and Akufo-Addo, the dollar politics became their trump card. The dollar politics became a trump card. Borrowing politics became a trump card. Where are we now? If we are indeed doing decent politics, politics are a factor wisdom and intelligence, values and principles into that particular politics. Menyasho senka hani ejina. but the politics that we do has no room for such stuff. So Akufo-Addo can still be gallivanting across the length and the breadth of this particular country and be telling us, and he will be insulting us. He will be insulting everybody. The last time somebody said, oh, you guys of today, you have to exercise a bit of restraint because dealing in as if for no more. I can't just say, nobody is disrespecting nobody. We're just speaking to the issues. Nobody is disrespecting anybody. Am I not making a case? Because I am not a madman to come and sit here and be insulting people. I don't do that. We're just speaking to the issues. And when we are making analysis out of issues, age has absolutely nothing to do with it. Because we are talking to people who have entrusted the entire estate into their care. Their job is to ensure, say, respect they will do the same in service to us. But that is not what we are getting. Isn't it frustrating? And you see me as a child or as a kid, and you are quick enough to say, but have you asked yourself, do you know a number of aged people who are sitting home, who are far older and older and older than the president, whose policies, whose commentaries, whose rhetorics on daily basis is nothing but a direct insult to those people? Have you thought about that? Intimate now, if you are as a president say on your reshuffle, the president insulted him. He said he's jobless. He's a naysayer. So you see, if we begin to take from the equation some of these primitive way of assessing situations, some of these old ways of trying to dodge the main issues and flipping a lot of this unnecessary stuff, we will never find a way. Because baby Ghana Genesis economically, we are at the precipice. Everybody is calling for an intervention. The church is calling for intervention. Civil society organizations are calling for intervention. The media calling for intervention. Everybody is calling for intervention. Only the presidency says everything is correct. And you think everything is okay? You see, people have become much aware of the situation that is going on. Do you know why? It's because of the same new media. It is the new media that is trying to flip the other side of the narrative, the other side of the conversation. Because over the years, with those traditional media houses and as for over that GTV, Peace FM, and as all those old radio stations, you not even get opportunity. So that is where they cook the narrative. The traditional platforms where they cook the narrative and then they let it go. They come and they confuse people. Out of their own ill thoughts, they conceive ideas that are narrow and come with some prejudices and stuff. So that is the poison these media have been feeding the people over the years growing up. It is at this point that the new media is trying to diffuse and distill that death, that poison. Now people are becoming very awakened and very conscious. I was talking to a friend about somebody. Ebi amunya notice here. So oko Kumasi until recently, and I said near Messesa. Oko radio stations ni spend a fortune. See at the yes pause. Now there is no single radio station Kumasi which said that you have vibrant political issues. Because see a politics na say a politics already the Kronan Kasano or make your mind say we belong here. So they don't need politics. That is the whole idea. So let us make sports the major idea, because a politics banner say you're driving to the conversation and nipa be hunyansa on message on margin. So let us invest in sports and just leave politics. These are some of the things. And they and some of the stations, they take up politics. A typical Kumasi, if you go to the radio stations in the Momo because of the sports. And when it comes to sports, I can tell you, say Ghana has a baby yes sports mu sports e Kumase. They will give you the vibe. Yes. Because that is what the stations do. They don't do politics. Until recently now, they don't say politics. Because already the whole place is a constituency that has, whether you like it or not, already made a choice. Said here is, we want to go this way. So they don't need politics for anything. They're more about to explain things, and as if when they will begin to question. So let us take politics off the table. Then let us blow sports to prominence. So sports was growing. So there are a lot of people that will tell you, say, I belong to this party, but he doesn't have any political knowledge. And to win the argument, obedi watem na ya na tribal lands, and obi a belong out there we krasini, we say we now name so because he has no argument, no valid argument. If you ask him why he's voting for a particular place, he doesn't. As to whether the situation is the same in Volta region, I don't know, because so I don't know. But that is it for you. And the more follow no sports, Kumasi sports. Almost all the radio stations, even new ones nearby, the sports. Because the status quo no free there to maintain and continue to control the people. No, let us keep them away from politics. They will begin to ask questions. So take away politics, give them sports, so that they don't ask questions. So they will not even have reason why they should vote for other party. You were born into it. Here is where we belong to. That is why I started conversation, because I'm happy that people are now becoming very conscious. And baby to a monun to say party na is your warm to moon free on best some margin. Because baby a general when some hunini near my cousin once some wadria. Now nipa usunipa we and for so bad also. Because you see, me say evil is evil, right is right. It doesn't matter who is leading it. It doesn't matter who is causing it. It doesn't matter. If you are MPP, you should be able to gather the courage, the momentum to criticize what is wrong. If you are NDC, you have the courage and the momentum to do the same thing when your government begin to take silly and foolish decisions. Because that is a dear bad distinct from animal. Because animal there onim wrong, onim right. I said be crime and crowd never feel now training. I said be ohuni left from the right. So that is how President Akufo-Addo I insulted all Ghanaians. Catch and say nim nyansa. It's in lucky say nyano. And to certain extent I agree with him. Ko ye lucky saying, mom penina tima kofa ni fearful nyina, and you have certain narrow-minded individuals within the media who speak to justify say there's a president in the fearful by anti. Really? Really? In modern politics? In modern politics, when you know, say, if you are talking about types of political corruption, cronyism is one of them, family and friends, because that particular thing will warp your will. It will warp your will. You cannot whip the crap. You cannot whip the crack when the time comes. That is the situation we have. Kenneth Oriata should have been a gunner. That guy should have been as honor there. Anything he in a dick watch a children share black politan bag and walk out for napkin ball so baby because he doesn't fit to be at the ministry. But the president doesn't have what it takes. That will is not there. The president Nankasa Krano, yet the nation black politan man would not him because he's not fit for purpose. He has demonstrated overly because whoever be a minor corner, he himself is nothing but a monumental failure of an unimaginable proportion or quantify and then the failure and there or quantify and these are individuals who are leading us at this crucial time. So at this point in Kebenya, you're saying ideas coming from the other side within the media, social, you're saying advocacy groups, interest group, professors, doctors, academia, opposition, Obia, the Najimba, just to find a way out. But these people are not willing to listen to anybody because they still believe, they are still under the illusion that they are sensible than everybody. That is the only motivation. I remember the President Abaka said, we are lucky to have him. The President, you have an excavator to 2 years there. When you're lucky, saying, the one who excavator one tabinda. Timmy Quadigi a month for gold and as for 2 years old crew, corruption and custom. When you're lucky, saying, he's building a dynasty. He's comfortable. Nobody is losing his job. People are comfortable. So there is no motivation to do anything because after all, position now, as I attorney at home, I can mess up. So if you really want to understand the situation we are confronted with, that you see, don't view the situation from my perspective. Neither must you view it from your own perspective. Or just, Jenna baby, tap into the president's reality. Just tap into our president's distorted reality and how he sees the governance of this particular country. In his distorted